for freedoms. For this fourth and final lecture, we're in Washington, D.C. with Foreign Affairs and Russia expert Dr. Fiona Hill, who's addressing freedom from fear. And there's an awful lot of anticipation about this event and what she's going to say.
I'm a student here, excited to hear Dr. Hill's insights about the war and big fan of her books.
I just think Dr. Hill is such a strong presence in foreign affairs and just really looking forward to hearing her speak.
She's a hero.
I found her to be one of the most kind of inspiring and honest policymakers out there. I am also a fan of the Reef Lectures. I've listened to them for quite a while and excited to be here.
So join us after the news for the Wreath Lectures.
Hello, I'm Neil Nunes with the BBC News. Taliban guards in Afghanistan have prevented hundreds of young women from entering university campuses a day after they suspended higher education for female students. The details from Embarasan Etirajan.
We've been watching several videos where women students have been gathering outside their university campuses, and they were hugging and consoling each other. Many were crying. They were talking about how the future has been lost for them completely because they were all preparing for their final exam, some of them in the final year, and all of a sudden the universities are not allowing them entry and the Taliban guards force them to leave. So it's another very sad day for women in Afghanistan because they feel that this is the end for them, to get any access to higher education unless the international community forces Taliban to change that policy.
Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky is traveling to Washington for his first official visit. He'll join President Biden for the announcement of a significant new package of security assistance that could include the delivery of advanced Patriot air defense missiles. It comes as a member of the bipartisan Congressional Ukrainian Caucus, Democrat Brad Sherman, says continuing U.S. military support for Ukraine may become more difficult.
We're doing 45 now. We've done 48 up until now, 48 billion. I think it's going to be tough to maintain that year after year. The fact is, we're doing an awful lot. Ukraine couldn't survive without our efforts. Europe is doing a lot on the financial side, but America is doing virtually all on the military aid side. And I think it's important that behind the scenes, the war aims are coordinated and reflect not only the viewpoints of Kiev, but also a broader worldview.
The Australian Foreign Minister Penny Wong is in Beijing for talks with her Chinese counterpart Wang Yi. Canberra is hoping China will ease trade sanctions it imposed on Australian products. Here's Phil Mercer.
Relations between Australia and its biggest trading partner have been in the deep freeze for quite a few years now. The list of disputes between the two countries is pretty long. Australia's call back in 2020 for an inquiry into the origins of COVID-19 infuriated China. It saw it as a criticism of its early handling of the pandemic. So that makes Penny Wong's visit to Beijing extremely significant.
The UN Security Council has eased a weapons embargo imposed in 2003 on the Democratic Republic of Congo. The decision could help the army to fight rebel groups. This is the latest world news from the BBC. Israel's designated Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has only hours left to announce a new government, which could be the most far-right ever in Israel. He's been locked in talks with his former coalition allies, leaders of ultranationalist and religious parties. Health officials in the UK have warned that patient safety cannot be guaranteed as thousands of ambulance workers go on strike. Ministers have urged the public to take extra care and suggested they avoid contact sports and unnecessary car journeys. Our health reporter Jim Reid reports.
Unions say this strike is about pay, but also working conditions and patient safety. Paramedics and other staff have not put a figure on their pay demand, only saying it needs to make up for lost earnings caused by high inflation. The coordinated action today by 3 unions will affect Wales and all of England, apart from the east of the country. Unions have agreed that they will respond to the most serious life-threatening call-outs and that staff can be called back from the picket line to attend emergencies under certain circumstances.
One of the most prominent figures in the European Union has warned its credibility is badly damaged because of recent corruption allegations involving Qatar. Charles Michel, who is president of the European Council, said it was now harder for the Union to focus on issues such as economy and energy after 4 people were charged with receiving money from Qatar. The Pacific nation of Fiji could be set for a period of political turmoil, with the current Prime Minister yet to accept defeat in last week's general election. The outcome will have an impact on diplomatic competition in the Pacific between China and Australia. The Prime Minister favours Beijing. His opponent believes the island nation should rely on Australia. The opposition leader has formed an alliance that gives him a majority. BBC World News.
Hello and welcome from Washington DC to the Johns Hopkins University
goes back into the exchequer and so any pay rise gets put back into the economy, and it benefits economy, and it benefits the high street, and it benefits the shops, and it's a self-fulfilling loop. That's what a service industry is. But if you underfund the people who fund the service industries, then the whole thing collapses.
You're clearly passionate about your job.
Yeah.
How does it make you feel having to do this, and how you've seen the job as a paramedic change over the last 12 years?
Well, we are now social workers, in mental health workers. We don't see massive trauma and blood and guts anymore. It's still there occasionally, but our workforce is twice the size, if not more, because it's been piled onto us. Been relatively well funded, the ambulance service, because of the expansion in the requirements that we needed. Because there wasn't mental health services. Mental health services has improved in the last couple of years, don't get me wrong. But the rest of it, the youth workers and the social workers and the interventions before it gets to people's crises, it's in whatever it is, that's piled back on us and ED essentially. And so it's not the blood and guts job anymore. It is really social care and
so much more to your roles. Ben, thank you for chatting to me. I really appreciate it. That's the case from Ben. They're reflecting what a lot of these paramedics, these care workers, the 999 call handlers are facing on the front line, and they are hoping those negotiations, specifically with pay and working conditions, reopen with the government so they don't have to go on strike again.
Dan, thank you. That's Dan Whitehead there in Bristol. Well, Sky's Aisha Zahid is at Oxford City Ambulance Station, one of the many regions that's declared a critical incident.
South Central Ambulance Service declared a critical incident yesterday, and what that means is that their resources will be focused on those who are most seriously ill. They'll be rejigging their resources to make sure that they're reaching those people. Now, critical incident is an internal notice that's been issued, and that's triggered by pressures that they're facing. And for South Central Ambulance Service, that comes down to 2 things: unprecedented demand paired with the fact that there are significant delays when it comes to handing over patients when ambulances are arriving in hospital. And to give you some more context with some numbers, for South Central Ambulance Service, they say that the past week they've faced extreme pressure. In the same period compared to the year before, 999 calls have gone up by 50% and 111 calls have gone up by 75%. So the message that they're really putting out is for people to only call 999 if it is a life-threatening situation.
Aisha Zahid there. Well, that's the situation on the picket lines, but the battles on the airwaves between the governments and the unions has become increasingly bitter. This was Health Secretary Steve Barclay speaking to Sky News this morning.
Well, we have a process in terms of pay, an independent process, and we've accepted the recommendations in full, and that looks at both the pressures on the NHS, and indeed at the autumn statement, additional funding was targeted to the NHS. And I don't want to divert money from those essential services focused on patients to overturn what has been an independent process which has looked at what is affordable to the economy, what is affordable to your viewers at a time of cost of living pressure, but also recognising the system's under very severe pressure, and we need to get that extra investment into the NHS and into social care.
You mentioned in the Telegraph today that striking workers are taking a conscious decision to put patients at risk. That's not conciliatory language. That's not going to bring the two sides closer together. That's only going to harden the side against you, isn't it?
Well, it's just a reflection of fact. The trade unions have chosen this time for the strike. We saw over the last week a 73% increase in flu admissions to hospital. We saw a 27% increase in COVID admissions. We've got 5 times the normal prescribing rate of prescriptions for antibiotics in terms of strep A. We've had a massive increase in calls to 111, up by more than a third. We've got an increase in calls to 999 over the last month of 15%. So the system is facing very significant pressures as a result of flu, of COVID, of strep A. And it's at this time that trade unions have not only chosen to strike, but have refused to put in place national exemptions to say they will cover all of the life-threatening and emergency Cat 1, Cat 2 calls.
The government's emergency Cobra committee is due to meet at the Cabinet Office shortly, where our political correspondent Joe Pike is this morning. And Joe, a real war of words building between the two sides, the government and the unions. What's the focus of today's meeting?
Well, we assume, Vanessa, it is again mitigation. No signs at all of the government changing their position or their pay offer to various unions. Cobra is the government's emergency committee. Rishi Sunak, we're told, has been heavily involved in the government's response to these strikes, but he's not chairing these meetings, leaving that to Oliver Dowden, the Chancellor of the Duchy of Lancaster, the senior minister in the building behind me at the Cabinet Office, and a close Sunak ally. As to who attends, well, Cobra meeting attendance normally depends on the crisis being discussed. You'll have a very different range of ministers and officials around the table, depending on if they're responding to a terror threat or a pandemic or perhaps flooding. But because these strikes are so widespread across so many industries, I'm told that practically everyone who is normally around the cabinet table has been in some of these Cobra meetings at one point or another, because of course the health service is affected, as well as the transport system. The Home Office have been involved because border force workers are due to strike, and the Ministry of Defence, of course, because they're backfilling people in the border force and also helping to drive some ambulances as well today. Now, as you say, the war of words has increased. There's certainly been a change in the rhetoric used by government ministers, wanting to be seemingly far more critical of the ambulance unions today. We saw that from Steve Barclay in his op-ed, his article for The Telegraph overnight, saying ambulance unions have made a, quote, conscious choice to inflict harm on patients. He's also said today on Sky News that they have chosen, he argues, the worst possible time to launch these strikes. That has not gone down well with unions. They seem angry. This was the reaction from Rachel Harrison of the GMB union, which represents ambulance workers.
I actually think that's a really insulting statement to our key NHS and ambulance workers. They've not made a conscious decision to put lives at risk. They've made a conscious decision to stand up for what they believe is an NHS that is crumbling beneath their feet. And as they're watching thousands of their colleagues leave the service every year because of poor pay and poor working conditions and a feeling of being unable to deliver the safe standards of patient care that they want to. That's why they're making this conscious decision, and it is insulting to say that they're doing this to put people at risk.
There has been a similarly angry response from the Unison trade union, also represents ambulance workers. This is a tweet from their General Secretary, Christina McAnee, today. She said, "I'm utterly shocked by the Secretary of State's comments in the media. He's never specifically asked Unison for a national contingency agreement. In our meeting yesterday, he acknowledged that NHS staff, our local unions, have negotiated detailed, appropriate plans for their areas. These accusations from the Secretary of State are a distraction from the government's own failings and their refusal to constructively resolve this dispute." Clearly, a change in the rhetoric of Vanessa, a toughening up of the government's stance, far more critical of the unions. That Cobra meeting is due to happen mid-morning today. If we catch any ministers going in or coming out, we'll bring their words to you, their reactions to you. The big criticism from government of these unions is that they are putting patients' lives at risk. But of course, the unions argue because of the state of the NHS, patients are already at risk.
Joe, thank you. There's Joe Pike there in Westminster outside the government Cobra meeting, which is due to take place imminently. Now, if you scan the QR code at the bottom of your screen, you can see how the strikes are affecting your area. And also, if you've been personally affected by the strikes, We want to hear from you. Just get in touch with your stories by sending an email to news@sky.com. Elsewhere, Ukraine's President Zelensky is going to Washington, where he's set to meet with Joe Biden at the White House and make an address to Congress. It will be the first time he's left the country since Russia invaded 10 months ago. Sky's international affairs editor Dominic Waghorn has the latest.
Well, I think we know this is going to be a big moment in the war. We've seen Zelensky address world leaders and gatherings by video throughout this war to great effect, but we've not seen him leave the country before and have the opportunity to do so in person. I think there will be some concerns about the security risks, but we've seen world leaders and foreign dignitaries come to Kiev and go, and so I think it won't be too much of a risk for him to do the kind of opposite route, going and coming back. He is going at a time when I think there is growing concern about the West underestimating Vladimir Putin. He went yesterday to Bakhmut, the most contested city in Ukraine, one of the fiercest battles that we've seen in this war raging there, probably the most dangerous place on earth. But he took the risk of going there. And when he was there, he was presented with a Ukrainian flag signed by frontline soldiers who've been fighting this bitter battle with the Russians. And he said he would take that flag to Washington as a hint to remind Americans that they do need more help here in Ukraine. The fear is the West is underestimating Putin, both on the home front, but also on the battlefield. On the home front, the West has not given the Ukrainians the means to repel and neutralise the very effective waves of missiles and drones that Russia is using to destroy the country's power grid. We have driven through one city after another, plunged in darkness here, with either total blackouts or severely restricted electricity supplies. And as the country goes deeper below freezing in the winter, that is going to be potentially lethal for millions of Ukrainians. And Americans are only just today finalising the agreement to give the Ukrainians Patriot anti-air defence systems. The Ukrainians say they need much more than that to neutralise that threat. On the battlefield, the Russians are sending in poorly trained, poorly equipped and poorly motivated conscripts that they have mobilised, but they're using the old Russian tactics of sending in wave after wave of soldiers, not apparently caring much for the welfare of those soldiers, but that tide of soldiers is taking its toll on the Ukrainians, particularly in places like Bakhmut. And they say they are going to need more weapons, more advanced weaponry to see off. I think there is that threat. There is a sense that the Russians, after really months of catastrophic failures on the battlefield, are beginning to get their act together. And I think the Ukrainians fear that that penny hasn't quite dropped in the West. So this is a chance for Zelensky to go to America, to look particularly those American politicians on the right of the spectrum who have been grumbling about the amount of help that America is giving the Ukrainians, look them in the eye and say, if you value freedom as much as you say you do, you've got to do a lot more to protect us. Otherwise, freedom will be in peril both here in Ukraine, but also further beyond.
Dominic Waghorn there. Well, government borrowing last month was the highest figure for a November since records began, worst even than during the COVID pandemic. The government borrowed £22 billion, the highest figure for that month since 1993. Well, Ian King is in our city studio to give us more. Ian, just put this into context for us. How significant is this level of borrowing?
Well, as you say, this is the highest November figure on record, so it would be pretty disappointing. To put it into context, £22 billion, it was slightly over that in November. That is getting on for 3 times the amount that the government borrowed in November last year. The figure then, £8.3 billion. So you're up some £13.9 billion. It means that during the first 9 months of the year, 8 months of the financial year, the government has borrowed to date £105.4 billion. That's up £7.6 billion on the same period a year ago. Now, the factors are at play here. I mean, if you think about what makes up government borrowing, it's essentially the difference between what the government raises in taxes and what the government spends. Now, taxes were more or less unchanged. They were slightly higher. But bear in mind also in November, you saw the reversal of the health and social care levy. That was the 1.25 percentage point increase on national insurance contributions that Rishi Sunak introduced as Chancellor. Liz Truss then did away with it. That is one of the legacies of her short time in 10 Downing Street. So tax receipts more or less unchanged, but there was a big increase in government spending. Now, the government spent £98.9 billion during the month. That was up 13.5 billion on the same month last year. And the factors at play there were twofold. One is the amount of money that's being thrown by the government at insulating households and businesses from higher energy bills. That costs £7 billion. Just in that 1 month alone. And then the other factor is higher interest payments on the national debt. Now, these came in during the month at some £7.3 billion. That was up from £2.4 billion in the same month last year. And that's largely down to inflation, because around a quarter of interest payments on the national debt are linked to the rate of inflation. Obviously, that's at elevated levels, and accordingly, the government is having to spend a lot more on servicing the national debt. Now, all of this means that the UK's debt to GDP ratio during the month rose from 98.2% to 98.7%. We're not at 100% yet, but we're heading in that direction. It means that the overall national debt now currently stands at some £2.478 trillion. Now, cast your mind back to what happened in the gilt markets during the aftermath of the mini-budget issued by Kwasi Kwarteng. We talked an awful lot then about gilt yields. These are implied interest payments, government borrowing costs, and obviously they shot up in the immediate aftermath of the mini-budget. Well, they came down pretty sharply after Jeremy Hunt came in as Chancellor and reversed most of Kwasi Kwarteng's policy initiatives. And what we thought happened had generally soothed the market. We obviously then had an autumn statement, which again poured further balm on the international markets. But if you look at what's happened for 10-year gilts, as I say, these are implied government borrowing costs. Well, the gilt yield has risen from 3.1% at the beginning of this month. It's now knocking on the door of 3.6%. That's a pretty appreciable increase in just over 3 weeks. Now, it's not at the level that we saw in the immediate aftermath of the mini-budget, but it is definitely a situation to watch. It's not just down to these government borrowing costs. There were some big moves in the bond markets yesterday following an initiative from the Bank of Japan that really sent bond yields up right across the world. But it's nonetheless something that I think might cause a little bit of concern in the Treasury.
Ian, thank you. You're watching Sky News. Stay with us. Coming up, we'll find out more about the impacts of the strikes on the NHS in England. Welcome back. Millions of people were out on the streets of Argentina's capital, Buenos Aires, last night, hoping to catch a glimpse of the World Cup champions. Many managed to see the squad as they drove by on an open-top bus, but the parade was eventually suspended after fans were seen jumping from a bridge to try to get on board. My goodness, look at those scenes. The world champs were then transferred to helicopters and flew over the parade route. It's reported that the festival atmosphere changed, as you'd expect, as the evening went on, with some from the crowd clashing with police. A standoff started when officers began arresting fans who'd broken into the obelisk. Stones and glass bottles were thrown at the police, who used rubber bullets and water cannon on the crowd. Well, let's see how the weather is shaping up.
Warm memories wherever you go. The weather, sponsored by Qatar Airways.
Move now this festive season to your new home address at GHS Housing Estates. From now to 31st January 2023, we are offering you an amazing 5% buyer's discount on all purchases on our expandable 1, 2, 3 and 4 bedroom detached homes at Cochrane Villa, Pokwase, just 5 minutes drive from the interchange. The Mayflower and the new Hazel Courts at Kuntusi, 20 minutes drive from Achimotamo. Beautiful homes in a serene and gated community with flexible payment plans available. Call us now on 0544 347 980 or 0544 347 981. GHS Housing Estates. View it, love it, own it.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and in time? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination in time. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820. Or you can visit our website www.welllamp.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamp@gmail.com. Well Lamp Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clemens, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Make that move now this festive season to your new home address at GHS Housing Estates. From now to 31st January 2023, we are offering you an amazing 5% buyer's discount on all purchases on our expandable 1, 2, 3 and 4 bedroom detached homes at Cochrane Villa, Pokwase, just 5 minutes drive from the interchange. The Mayflower and the new Hazel Courts at Kuntusi, 20 minutes drive from Achimatamo. Beautiful homes in a serene and gated community with flexible payment plans available. Call us now on 0544 347 980 or 0544 347 981. GHS Housing Estates. View it, love it, own it.
Hi there. Are you dreaming of owning your own house in Ghana? Then you will need a well-documented piece of land that is free from troubles. I highly recommend My Africa Property for any size of land that you will need. With My Africa Property, lands are available in Prampram, Sopoli, Tohenia, Ogome, Dodova, Winneba, and many other locations at affordable prices. These locations are about an hour away from the airport, only 35 minutes from the motorway, 10 minutes drive from Central University College, 10 minutes drive to the beach, and close to Prampram Senior High School and Ghana Men's Soccer Center of Excellence. For more details, visit our website www.myafricaproperty.com or call our UK office on 0208 123 2523. For our US and Canada offices, call us on +1 585 184 994145. You can also email us at ghana@myafricaproperty.com.
Tune in to On Point here on Starr Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
Check me out. He tells me my energy is making him tired.
Yes!
How do you get the energy to do
I've been told that I have a lot of energy, but my goodness, I think today I have met my match, people. I have met my match, Miss Suzanne. Wow, amazing.
One of the things that's the start of the darkness. The whole of darkness.
So what did that?
Myself and the world will adjust. And 2019.
Forget the proverbial boardroom. Join me, Simone Frazier, on The CEO, the program that gives you the driving seat over your life. Every Tuesday, 8 p.m. only on Starr Radio.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour Show on Starr Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour Show is your best source into the property industry.
Make that move now, this festive season, to your new home address at GHS Housing Estates. From now to 31st January 2023, we are offering you an amazing 5% buyer's discount on all purchases on our expandable 1, 2, 3 and 4 bedroom detached homes at Cochrane Villa, Pokwase, just 5 minutes drive from the interchange. The Mayflower and the new Hazel Courts at Kuntusi, 20 minutes drive from Achimatamo. Beautiful homes in a serene and gated community with flexible payment plans available. Call us now on 0544 347 980 or 0544 347 981. GHS Housing Estates. View it, love it, own it.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and in time? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination intact. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820, or you can visit our website www.welllamp.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamp@gmail.com. Well Lamb Shippers, fast, reliable and trustworthy.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business. The show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Make that move now, this festive season, to your new home address at GHS Housing Estate. From now to 31st January 2023, we are offering you an amazing 5% buyer's discount on all purchases on our expandable 1, 2, 3 and 4 bedroom detached homes at Cochrane Villa, Pokwase, just 5 minutes drive from the interchange. The Mayflower and the new Hazel Courts at Kuntusi, 20 minutes drive from Achimatamo. Beautiful homes in a serene and gated community with flexible payment plans available. Call us now on 0544 347 980 or 0544 347 981. GHS Housing Estates. View it, love it, own it.
Body is your ma. Bekutu. Show them you got the cocoa set. Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy Harry Song, aka Mr. Songs. This is the Kingmaker Baba for the girls. We're here. This is Starr Radio. Don't go nowhere. UK, London. We they call them London for home. For here, we they call them London.
Hi there, this is CJ Buckle, your life coach. And whenever I'm in London, I listen to Starr Radio UK right here. But guess what? You can listen to wherever you are.
Hey, listeners, this is Starr Radio UK, your favorite Afro-Caribbean radio station in London, and we wish all our listeners a Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year.
Broadcasting live online.
Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
All around the world. In your car.
At work.
At home.
On your smartphone.
This is Starr Radio UK. Are you ready to turn it up?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me. And I'm feeling good. Hey there, this is Archie, and it's a Starr Radio UK. Okay, massive good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you wherever you might be on planet Earth, and welcome to the Wednesday edition of the morning show. Today is the 21st of December the year 2022 with a time now 10:40 from the House of London. And I want to tell you once again, share the broadcast with your friends and loved ones and invite them to like our pages. And let me say good morning to my team this morning, Mr. Olayomi Koiki, Mr. Frank Davis working behind the scenes, and my able producer, Mr. Francis Guy. Pulling all the strings and doing everything to make sure that the program goes on perfectly. I salute you. And to my brother Felix, massive good morning to you. I hope you're doing well. Mr. David Klucher, good morning. Dr. Morton, good morning to you. Brett Yoba, hey, long time no hear, no see. Good morning to you as well. To all our friends and loved ones, massive good morning. Even to our enemies, we still love you, you know. The good book says so. If your enemy is hungry, give them something to eat. Now share it with your friends and loved ones. If your enemies are hungry, give them Starr Radio UK to eat, you know. Feed them with good information and good vibes. But once again, let me say welcome. Pastor Momo, good morning to you. Bishop Adeshina, good morning. Anthony Adedeji, good morning. Miss Gold, good morning to you all. Those of you in the UAE, those of you in the United States, those of you in Canada as well, I salute each and every one of you. And especially those of you on the African continent, my Nigerian listeners, my Ghanaian listeners, South Africans, my Liberian listeners, oh, Uganda, Tiso Radio, all the crew there, I say massive good morning to you. Wow, some music made in a Ghanaian port, and this around a Christmas tune there. Happy New Year to you, a happy celebration to you, whichever is appropriate. So from now till 12 o'clock, I'm going to bring you the morning show. It is a Wednesday edition of the morning show. It ends out at 12 o'clock. But today we'll not be bringing you the PMQ. So after that, we'll be just bringing you some lovely tunes, Christmas tunes, to put you in the mood. Are you in the mood? Have you finished with all your shopping and stuff like that? Well. I bet you. Let me say good morning to Janet. Okay, the boss lady at GHS Housing Estate Limited in Ghana as well. And the team down there, hope y'all doing good and getting yourself ready for the festivities. Let me say good morning to my apostle himself, brother HB, my head pastor. I hope you are doing very well. And Auntie Mary, Mrs. Mary Bruce, good morning to you all. And to my little ones, you know, Mrs. Evelyn Tabiri and the girls, Mrs. Joyce Zake and the girls, and my girls are home as well, Mr. Maxwell Nyamadi and the girls. You see, oh my goodness. Alright then, so wherever you are, keep your dance so logged on Starr Radio UK. Let's make it a great day. To our presenters of Starr Radio UK, I salute each and every one of you. Well, for those of you who are tuning for the Wednesday edition of the morning show, this is how the program goes. I'm going to bring you the quote of the day, the weather forecast will follow suit, then the travel updates. Move on from there to have a look at some of the stories making the rounds across the globe. Then from there, we will bring you updates from Nigeria at exactly 11 o'clock. Then we continue with our discussions. 11:30, we open the lines for you to add your voice to the discussions. Then at 12 o'clock, we'll bring the curtains down. Yes, to get you in the mood for the festivities. So today there will not be PMQ, the Prime Minister's question time, but there's going to be lots of Christmas tunes for you. Line up. Karunwi Abiodun, yes, love you too. Alright then, so let's crack on. The quote for the day says, be patient. It takes time for a flower to bloom, for the sun to rise, for a heart to heal, for a life to change. What do you think about that? Alright, Starr Radio UK. I'm trying to put you in a Ghanaian mood for celebrating Christmas, you know. They will be having their goat. That's a good. Let me say good morning to my big bro, Mr. Francis Abedi, and Mr. Ishmael Okai. Good morning to you. Alright then. Now, when it comes to the weather front, this is how the weather is going to be for you today in London and southeast of England. Now, this afternoon we'll see spells of rain clear eastwards, leaving the rest of the day largely dry with just the odd light shower. Cloud will be patchy, allowing for sunny spells for many. And then there will be some clear spells through the first part of the evening, but cloud will soon thicken from the west. Now, through the second half of the night, outbreaks of rain will develop for most areas. The temperature is going to be 11 degrees, the lowest is going to be 7 degrees. UV level is going to be low, pollution is going to be low, sunset 15:53, and sunrise for tomorrow morning 0804 hours. And that brings us to the end of the weather forecast. For today, Wednesday, the 21st day of December, the year 2022. Okay, let's take a quick commercial break, and once we come back, I'll bring you the travel update. Stay tuned.
Make that move now, this festive season, to your new home address at GHS Housing Estate. From now to 31st January 2023, we are offering you an amazing 5% buyer's discount on all purchases on our expandable 1, 2, 3 and 4 bedroom detached homes at Cochrane Villa, Pokwase, just 5 minutes drive from the interchange. The Mayflower and the new Hazel Courts at Kuntusi, 20 minutes drive from Achimatamo. Beautiful homes in a serene and gated community with flexible payment plans available. Call us now on 0544 347 980 or 0544 347 981. GHS Housing Estates. View it, love it, own it.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Okay, keep your eyes on the roads, keep your eyes on the roads. I'm keeping navigated, I promise I'm born. That nice artwork there, created by Mr. Ebenezer Hammond, all the way in South Africa, Cape Town to be specific. Amen, good morning, and thank you very much for that as well. Okay, so that will be taking the screens whilst we bring you the travel updates. West Starr Radio UK is wishing every one of you a Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year. But this is how your journey is going to be if you are in the UK. And please make sure you adhere to it. And as we say here, keep your eyes on the road. Now, on the road this morning, underground this morning, the Bakerloo line has got part closures there as well until the 23rd of December. No service between Queen's Park and Harrow and Wellstone. No London Overground service between Euston and Watford Junction. Replacement buses are operating there, so please check before you leave. Now, moving on straight, all the other underground services are in good service though. Now, the London Overground has also got until the 23rd of, that is Friday, no service between Euston and Watford Junction. No Bakerloo line service between Queen's Park and Harrow and Wellstone. Use London North Western Railway services between Euston, Wembley Central, Harrow and Wellstone, Bushy and Watford Junction. Bashi. Okay, the London tram link has also got some delays there as well. Minor delays due to shortage of trams there. But on the side, all the others are in good service. Now let's move on straight to the major roads in London. Let me tell you what's happening there. Well, on the major roads in London, A24, A4, A41, Central London and Red routes are not circular A406 are in good closures. Experiencing the closures there, so please check before you leave. Now, A316 South Circular A205 have got serious delays. We can avoid them. Do your best to do so. That aside, all the others, no exceptional delays. Now, on the river by this morning, apart from the Woolwich Ferry, that's still got special service. All the others have got good service. Now, the London Cable Car has also got good service. But let's run down to the final segment of our travel update. That is the National Rail. Keep your eyes on the roads. So on the National Rail this morning, Avanti West Coast, Cross Country, Gatwick Express, Great Western Railway, Southern, and Thameslink have all got minor delays. That aside, Chiltern Railways has got special service, and Island Line and Southwestern Railway has also got special service. But First Transparent Express has got severe delays, so please check before you embark on your journey if you are using those routes. That aside, all the others, good service there. And that is where and how we bring the travel update to a close for today. And as I will do, or as I will say, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you wherever you might be on planet Earth. Enjoy your commute for today, but you know what? Continue to keep those eyes on the roads. Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and intact? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination intact. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820. Or you can visit our website www.welllamp.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamp@gmail.com. Well Lamp Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy. Welcome back to the program. It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, bringing the time now to 8 minutes to the top of the hour. That means it's time for Global Trotting. Yes, when it comes to some of the stories that I'm going to be looking at when it comes to Nigeria this morning, with updates from Nigeria coming your way from Mr. Olayomi Koiki. London court denies Ekweremadu bail again. And then 2023 general elections may be sabotaged. Femi Falana is warning. Who is Femi Falana? The human rights lawyer said security agencies must put an end to the continuous attacks on INEC facilities across the country. So is it now that they believe that it's the security agencies that are embarking on that arson? Well, we need to prove that they are doing so. But whatever it is, do you think that election is going to hold or not? Well, a lot more are going to be coming your way from there. A cash withdrawal limit, again, federal government makes fresh announcement on for public accounts. Well, yesterday or the day before yesterday, the CBN, that the governor for the Central Bank of Nigeria, he was to be arrested by the DSS. However, a court has ruled that they dare not. But well, what I think is going to happen there, more going to be coming your way when it comes to Nigeria. I promise you, for sure, you're going to love that. All right then, let's move on straight to some other stories making the round. U.S. Security Council relaxes arms embargo on DR Congo. The DRC has been under a UN arms embargo since 2000. The decision was made at a time in response to the extent of violence at the Central African country. Yes, but now that they are releasing that, is it not that some, you know what? Yes, arm dealers, the big hooks, they are now going to be selling arms, trading, making some profits. Well. Gambia MPs call for prosecution of Indian producer of suspicious syrup. The government should take legal action against Maiden Pharmaceuticals for exporting contaminated drugs to the Gambia, the commission stated. The question is, what are the the regulators, the bodies that are supposed to check if these medicines are wholesome before they are passed on to the public, doing? What have they done so far? Do they do a check on those ones? Well, we're going to be looking more into that. And Senegal has received French Interior Minister discussing burning issues of drug trafficking and others. Well, we'll be bringing you more on that front as well. And Keep Rising nominated for a Grammy Award. Song Keep Rising by Jesse Wilson features in the soundtrack of Hollywood hit The Woman King. Wow. A good one there. And congratulations to her. Now moving on straight to some other stories making the rounds. Well, in Ghana, the former finance minister, Mr. Setekwe, I said that suspend free SHS until economy picks up. Setekwe tells Akufo-Addo. But would Akufo-Addo do so? Well, unfortunately for him as well, Parliament has voted down is it 80 million money that they were requesting for the National Cathedral. So how is it all panning out for him? Why? The finance minister says, why are we entertaining such nonsense? Subin MP on the Furiata continues stay in office. Pertaining to the finance minister. Well, the Subin MP, is he an MPP MP or is he an opposition one? Or do you think that with everything that is happening now, the president will be like, woo, see what I told you, keep the man in there. And you see that there's a 10. Now the city is gaining against the foreign currencies. So what do you think there? Well, more is going to be coming your way. It is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. All right, moving on straight to some other stories making the rounds here in other parts of the world. My apologies. Zelensky heads to US for first trip since war began. The White House will announce a further $2 billion in aid to Ukraine, including a Patriot air defense system. Let's see how that pans out. Well, when it comes to Afghanistan, the Taliban has banned women from Afghan universities. The late Dr. Koiki Agri, one of the renowned educationists back in the day, did make a statement that when you teach a man, you teach a person. But when you teach a woman or you train a woman, that when you train a man, you train a person. But when you train a woman, you train a whole family or a whole nation. But I don't know where they are coming from. I don't know how they are seeing things. And I don't know how or why they are threatened by empowering women. Maybe I need some education or some enlightenment on that front. Because let's take a country like the Saudi Arabia. Earlier on, they didn't allow women to do that. Now, women are doing all sorts. So maybe they have to take a leaf from their book and see if maybe if they go on that path, it's going to help the economy as well. But what are they expecting them to do? To stay at home? Well, it is all coming away from Starr Radio UK. 8 Canadian teen girls charged with killing a man. The teenagers are accused of attacking a 59-year-old man in Toronto in what police called a swarming. Oh my God. 8 teenagers. Okay, and US has seized enough fentanyl to kill every American. Now, nearly 400 million potentially fatal doses, double last year's total, were intercepted by the federal agents. And it's scary. Now, Peru has given Mexican ambassador 72 hours to leave. Why? The order comes after Mexico grants asylum to the family of ousted Peruvian President Pedro Castillo. Wow. The unrest is going on in Peru, and I'll be telling you more about that as the days unfold. But it's all coming away from Starr Radio UK. In the UK, well, only call 999 if you think you're going to die. Ambulance boss. Now, everybody, when you have headache, oh, I'm going to die, then I can call. Or when you're having a heart attack, you can call. So what are they going to do? But well, the ambulance services are also embarking on a strike. Now, furious minister says strikers are choosing to harm ambulance workers in England and Wales walk out amid a bitter war of words with the government. But the Prime Minister is digging his heels in, saying that, you know what, we're not going to budge. So there's a stalemate there, a checkmate, let me put it that way. But who is going to blink? Who is going to budge? Will the strikes go on? I can tell you assuredly, but come January, we're going to be seeing more strikes, more. But the Prime Minister is saying that, look, if we increase your salaries for you or your wages for you, what is going to happen? It's going to fan the fire of inflation, and therefore we wouldn't have so that whatever we are going, we're going through at the moment. So stay put, let us stay there, and then let's see what happens. But well, they're also saying we're not going to back down. No, we are going to fight. So let's see what is going to happen. So coming your way from Starr Radio UK, a lot more coming your way. So stay tuned. Don't touch the dial. Starr, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Let me bring you one tune, and then we'll be having Mr. Olayomi Koiki joining in. And this time round, it is from Mick J. Clark, and it says it's getting near Christmas. Enjoy it, and I'll be with you.
It's getting near Christmas. It's getting near Christmas. Decorations, wrapping presents, no more time to spare. Everybody hurrying and rushing everywhere. Yeah, it's getting near Christmas.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Now the snow is falling, everybody knows that Mr. Snowman will appear when he's here. It means it's getting near Christmas. The crackers and the funny hats, all the party games. I'm counting every day until we'll meet together again. We'll kiss beneath the mistletoe while outside as the cold wind blows. There beside the fireside, we'll cuddle up real tight. I'll whisper I love you as I look into your eyes. Whoa, decorations, wrapping presents, no more time to spare. Everybody hurrying and rushing everywhere. Carols singing, bells are ringing, now it's almost here. The most magical, wonderful time of the year. Yeah, it's getting near Christmas. Whoa, yeah, it's getting near Christmas. Decorations, wrapping presents, no more time to spend. The most magical, wonderful time of the year. It's almost here, yeah, it's getting near Christmas. Santa Claus will soon be loading up his sleigh. Now the snow is falling, everybody knows that Mr. Snowman will appear when he's here. It means it's getting near Christmas. The crackers and the funny hats, all the party games.
This is Starr Radio UK.
We'll kiss beneath the mistletoe while outside as the cold wind blows.
Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
We'll cuddle up real tight. I'll whisper I love you as I look into your eyes.
Archie,
decorations, wrapping presents, no more time to spare. Everybody hurrying and rushing everywhere. Carols singing, bells are ringing, now it's almost here. The most magical, wonderful time of the year. Yeah, it's getting near Christmas. It's getting near Christmas. Decorations, wrapping presents, no more time to spare. The most magical, wonderful time of the year. Yeah, it's getting near Christmas. Yeah, it's getting near Christmas.
This is Starr Radio
in your car, at work,
at home,
on your smartphone.
It's getting near Christmas. It's getting near Christmas. It's getting near Christmas.
that move now this festive season to your new home address at GHS Housing Estate. From now to 31st January 2023, we are offering you an amazing 5% buyer's discount on all purchases on our expandable 1, 2, 3 and 4 bedroom detached homes at Cochrane Villa, Pokwase, just 5 minutes drive from the interchange. The Mayflower and the new Hazel Courts at Kuntusi, 20 minutes drive from Achimatamo. Beautiful homes in a serene and gated community with flexible payment plans available. Call us now on 0544 347 980 or 0544 347 981. GHS Housing Estates. View it, love it, own it.
SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR, S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Vedase.
Yamana Frishapo, Yamawana Frishapo. Hey, listeners, this is Starr Radio UK, your favorite Afro-Caribbean radio station in London, and we wish all our listeners a Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year. Stay blessed. Well, welcome back to the program Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, bringing the time now to exactly 7 minutes past the top of the hour. That means that it's time for updates from Nigeria with the one and only White Lion himself in the house. And let me say, massive good morning to you, Yummy.
Well, very good morning to you, Mr. Archie. Good morning, Frank. Good morning to all our listeners, because some are listening while some are watching, and we say good morning because we're also streaming from the sister, station in the studio from the Starr Radio UK, North London, where we are communicating to the global community. This is the African and Caribbean radio station in London, but at exactly 11 o'clock, we will go to Nigeria, where we discuss a lot of activities and the news and so much and others. I come back to you.
Well, a lot of activities and the news and a lot more coming from Nigeria. Let me say good morning to Anthony Adedeji as well. I hope you are doing very, very well. How is the family, sir?
Well, it's always good when you ask how's the family, and I was expecting that this morning. I've just returned back home at about 5 o'clock this morning because the little one was not feeling too well.
Oh wow!
She was complaining of a pain in the in the tummy. And these are some of the reasons why we say that when we look at the healthcare system, even though we know that the NHS, most of our nurses are striking, and we do give them a support because everybody needs a bit of pay. But one thing is that when you are living in this part of the globe, no matter whatever happened to you or the children, you know that there is still the healthcare system in there. So we spend almost 4 to 5 hours because, as you know, when you go to the A&E, there's always a lot of people. And because of the time, we spend almost 6 hours there. She's back home with us, and she's already all over the place running around. So the family, I can always say, are doing very well. But the question is, can the same family have the same experience in Lagos State, in Kaduna, in Nasarawa, in Kogi, in Adamawa, in Bauchi, that where their children will fall ill in the middle of the night and they can just call the ambulance, or they can take a taxi straight to the general hospital without being asked to pay 500 to 1,000 naira, where a lot of Nigerians do not have such. Eventually, we might be talking about a death of a child this morning rather than the child returning back home for just a small illness that could have been rectified in the healthcare system in Nigeria.
Wow, listeners, this is what we talk about. Well, we've had all the finances or the money, the means to do all the stuff that we're talking about here, having good healthcare facility or health system in place but we've never been able to do so. Having motorable routes, we've never been able to do so. But all that we see is our leaders. Well, when they are not feeling well, they would have flown this morning. They would have flown all the way from Nigeria on a charter flight and come here to come and get treatment. Now, what about the ordinary Nigerian? What are you thinking about? Pastor Momo, God bless you all on Star Radio. May God destroy all the evil trend in Nigeria and other regions in the world. Freedom for Yoruba is God's desire for us. Thank you very much, Pastor Momo, and good morning to you. And thank you very much for joining in as well. But yes, it's updates from Nigeria. Let's move on to what is happening. Aquarium Meadows, the court has once again denied him bail. So what's happening?
Well, the reason why the court, have not granted Ike Kirimadu a bail is because he's a flight risk. I'm not sure whether, with the technology right now, just as one of the previous, criminal ran away from London, dressing like a woman, and eventually, that caught up, attention of the world, and that was a disgrace because, nobody knew how he left the country. But this time around, the court, yesterday, I've said that they are not granting Ike Ikere-Madu, the former deputy Senate president that has got to be, in the custody of the Metropolitan Police and the UK government. The Central Criminal Court in London, also known as the Old Bailey, has yet again denied bail to former deputy Senate president Ike Ikere-Madu in a pre-trial hearing yesterday. Remember that the wife has been granted bail, but the husband seems to be a flight risk according to the court. It was also learned that the court have cited that there are some letter and asset forfeiture proceeding against the senator while he's here in London. Almost close to 50 houses across the globe in Nigeria, in Dubai, in London, is being something that the EFCC is working against as well. So it seems that in a bail application, according to Ike Ikere-Madu's lawyer, that have argued that the Nigerian High Commissioner to United Kingdom and the Attorney General of the Federation had written to the court that Ike Ikere-Madu was not a flight risk. But it doesn't seem that that is going to happen, as we know. His defense also argued that a guarantee to produce him should he pose a flight risk was given, and the Nigerian High Commission in UK had equally given the option of tagging Ike Ikere-Madu electronically to monitor his movement. This is quite interesting. Imagine that a former deputy Senate president will be tagged, and yet in Nigeria we have criminals that are being released back into the society, but yet we don't even know where they are living until they commit another crime. Referring to attestation of Ikere-Madu's character by respected Nigerians and organizations, his lawyer continued to argue that the lawmaker had proven to be caring, responsible father and could not escape from London, abandon his wife and a sick daughter. But the defense further told the court that there are surety and security of nearly £500,000 sterling from 11 people to secure Ike Ikere-Madu. So it seems already that the court case of Ike Ikere-Madu is still going to be an interesting one. He's not going to be attending any court hearing very soon, but they are still trying to get him out of bail, maybe in time for Christmas, but I don't think Christmas will be spent in home, as Ike Ikere-Madu he's still going to be here with us in the custody where he's being kept presently.
Now, it's quite an interesting one, but before I come to my reaction towards that, Olakunle, good morning to you, and much respect to you as well. And then John, God bless you all, and God bless Yoruba Nation. Thank you very, very much. Keep your comments coming through, and I will be able to read that as well. But I don't think the authorities, no matter where I'm standing, not whether in support of what the people in the Senate in Nigeria or in the federal government. No, I'm looking at a case where people have granted, are prepared to, give surety for Ike Ikere-Madu to be bailed. So why are the authorities here not granting him bail? Why are they saying it's a flight risk? They can take his passport, unless of course they are scared that maybe like they were going to do to somebody Buhari in his military days, maybe put him in a cargo something and just fly him out of the country. Is that what they're thinking? Why?
Which is very possible, even though Ike Kirimado is the PDP, not the APC. So I'm not sure whether Buhari would approve a presidential plane to come into the UK and then bundle Ike Kirimado out. That would be a very, very disgrace to the government. But should the PDP have been in the power, maybe that could have happened. But the government in UK, understand that the Nigerian politics are Maradona as well in their own way, and that means that even though you might remove his passport, that means somebody might be giving him a new passport in their different name and allow him probably not through any of the airport, but he can easily drive out, and if they know the route, you can be out in one country to one country, and the next thing is he will be in his hometown and he will be welcome as something that has never happened in the history. So the court is not taking any chances. They want to keep him here as much as possible, but not to even release him out on bail. And that is exactly where the court stand as of this morning.
Well, I hope that his lawyers are fighting right cause and there is not any dodgy things, because I don't like it when our leaders or especially when we are here and we are not being treated fairly, whether the person comes from wherever, that is not the case. But if it is somebody here who is said to have committed a similar crime, would a person be granted bail with all the surety that's been given? And the last surety that's from government, the High Commission here saying that, look, we will make sure that he is kept in the country and blah blah blah, yet the authorities or the prosecution or the judge is refusing to grant him bail. So we'll be following that story very, very closely. Well, somebody said that he was going to commit a crime, and maybe they are smelling something from that. We're not very sure, but wherever you are, it is Starr Radio UK. Now we've been talking about the arson of the INEC offices, the burn down of INEC offices, and some have alluded that it was the IPOB, lots of it. That's what they've been alluding to. So now that the what do you call it, the human rights lawyer, that's Femi Falana, is saying that, well, the security agencies are the one who are undertaking such criminal activity. How has the security agencies themselves taken it, and how has Nigeria as a whole are taking that as well?
Well, remember again, this is now coming from the angle of a senior advocate of Nigeria and a human right. In the last couple of weeks, we have actually been discussing, the issues surrounding, this particular, upcoming election. That is, if it's going to happen at all. But again, this morning, the headline is actually coming, from one of the senior advocate of Nigeria, Femi Falana. And what is it actually saying? We're going to go into that, this morning, as the government continue to say that election will hold, even though a lot of Nigerians are becoming a little bit worried, with the spark of, the insecurity across every part of Nigeria today. The human rights lawyer says security agency must now put an end to the continuous attack on the INEC facility. Yesterday, INEC was actually telling us that it will take some time to rectify some of these buildings. Even though not sensitive materials are there, but these buildings are meant to be available towards the election that is coming as well. But as one that the 2023 elections might now be sabotaged by anti-democratic forces if security agencies fail to put an end to the continuous attack on the facilities. The IG, are point fingers on some certain groups of people, but let us also remember that some of the state as well are pointing finger at the opposition party that they are trying to destabilize, so that the numbers of their vote will not be able to counter theirs as well. So if you take a look at some of the issues, especially now that we have almost 3 different ethnic groups that are fighting for this election, one from the southeast, one from the southwest, and one from the northern part of the country. So it's now about the game of the numbers, as it has always been, that one particular group among them is pushing against the agenda to destroy the other one as well. And this is why, the senior advocate of Nigeria, Femi Falana, who spoke in the statement titled "Hot Official Sabotage of 2023 General Election," said a violent attack been carried out by suspected arsonists pose serious security threat to the next year election.
Well, listeners, it is Starr Radio UK. Now, interesting. We'll be following very, very closely. But the question that I'm asking this morning is, now, do you think that the election timetable will be upheld, or there's going to be, as we saw in previous elections, postponement? Because if you're talking about areas where the offices has been destroyed by fire, so arson there, when are they going to construct those offices, and then where are they going to bring all the necessary logistics for the election to take place in those places? What is going to happen? What do you think?
Well, I think that whether INEC would have what it takes to build back these facilities in time, we will have to wait and see. They might have to prepare some other contingency plan against some of these atrocity. But the question is that should we remain how things are presently? It will take some time, because we're talking about buildings. It's not just one buildings now. We're talking about multiple buildings that have been attacked both across the country. And again, do we have the time frame, especially that we're about almost 60 days or less before the 2023 general election?
Okay, listeners, it is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Let me read some of the comments that have come through, and then we'll go back to Yomi once again. And Karunwi says, good morning, Mr. Archie. God bless Yoruba Nation and protect the land. May God do that for us. So then Olakunle says, please let Ekuremadu enjoy his Christmas in jail. I am sure he loves where he is, just like he loves human harvest. Oh my goodness. Well. That's what you think. But what do you think about that? Keep your comments coming through, and I promise you one thing for sure: we will be looking into that. But Yomi, now one other story that we're looking at that was yesterday, pertaining to the arrest, the alleged attempted arrest of the CBN, the governor of the CBN, and the fact that it's not going to come. I mean, the High Court ruled that they shouldn't come on. Now, cash withdrawal limit. Have people? I mean, federal government is making fresh announcement on for public accounts. So they're trying to still. So it looks like the federal government is supporting the governor.
Sorry, can you repeat that again?
I was saying that with all that is going on pertaining to the governor of the Central Bank of
The central bank issue is not going anywhere yet, even though it seems that the government is trying to protect the office, probably not the person, but because the office itself is a very, very important role. So the government is using every opportunity to protect. But the question is that element of truth to some of these alleged allegations that is actually now being propelled against the CBN, that President Muhammadu Buhari has actually given a full backing to Governor Emefiele, the central bank governor as well. But Justice Toso has again kicks as DSS files motion to arrest Emefiele for terrorism financing and economic sabotage. These are very serious allegations. Should there be evidence to that? But the judge said that the DSS did not supply evidence indicating President Muhammadu Buhari's approval before filing the salacious and uncorroborated allegations in the court. So again, Justice John Toso of the Federal High Court has slammed the DSS for filing a motion to arrest CBN Governor Godwin Emefiele without following the proper procedure.
Okay, let's see what happens. Well, is it that government is just supporting somebody who is a criminal? That's what some people will be thinking. Or maybe they are doing the right thing. And maybe the DSS will come back tomorrow morning and say, we are going to arrest him because we think that we're not going to obey or abide by the rules of the courts. Who knows what is going to happen? By this Star Radio UK, Mr. Olayomi Koiki in our North London studios. I'm Archie here in the South studios, and we're bringing you updates from Nigeria. Let's go back to Yomi for the rest of the stories making the rounds. Over to you, Yomi.
Because the Wednesday edition, we're just going to touch quickly on some of the few other headlines, take you straight to the social media, and then later on tonight on Niger Voices, we would have a lot of more to discuss regarding, the Super Rally and all other activities, with the ongoing election in Nigeria campaign, and likewise as more Nigerians are becoming more understanding their right to self-determination. That probably maybe about 3 years ago, not everybody thought, people like the Yorubas, indigenous people, the Biafra and the Arewa and the Middle Belt, will be demanding their right out of Nigeria. So let's take you straight to more other headline coming this morning on Star Radio UK. The Senate has confirmed Buhari's aide Onochi as the NDDC chairperson as well. Again, a teenager nabbed for traffic robbery in Lagos. Lamentation continue as Ogun State workers await November salary, just we discussed yesterday as well. Doyin Okupe has finally resigned as a DG to Peter Obi campaign after money laundering conviction as well is coming from the headline. Taraba Assembly elect a new speaker, and coalition EFCC spar over arrest of Yaya Bello's nephew for 10 billion naira fraud. 5 people have been docked for assaulting the NAFDAC officer, and also a man begged Sharia court to recover 38,500 naira from tomato seller. Police vow to deal with troublesome Kogi youth and politicians as well. So let's take us straight now to the social media this morning. Once again, let's look at what is trending this morning. Fashola is actually trending. I'm not sure why. Twitter NG, which is Twitter Nigeria, is trending, and it would be nice to see why that is actually trending, because I'm not sure what is around that trending this morning. I'm trying to look for something reasonable for the why it's trending, but so far nothing fantastic. But probably maybe a reminder that Twitter is one of the most used method of communication in Nigeria by a lot of Nigerians as well. Shetima is actually trending, and I can tell you the reason why. Yesterday a video popped up where it seems okay, let me read what comes out of it as well. The APC presidential candidate Bola Tinubu and his running mate Shetima interacting with a person living with disability during their parley person with a living with disability. But we now saw that Shetima actually passed what looks like I'm not sure whether it's a dollar or note in the Nigerian currency to their security, and that was passed through to the back, given to Tinubu, and Tinubu was actually presenting the money to this person. Whether this is something that should have been done in the midst of cameras, or probably, but right there and there in front of me, Tinubu was actually handing over the money to the person with disability. Again, there will be a lot before the election itself, should that be what it is. So that is actually trending. Tinubu and Shetima were caught on camera sharing bundles of naira notes. The look on Shetima's eye shows he didn't want to be seen doing that. So you can see that it was actually I'll try and get the the image on later on tonight for those that are watching us, so that you'll be able to see what it looks like. But again, this is what the politician does best in terms of manipulating the minds of our people. So that is about it this morning, due to time factor, as we have to go to the PMQ at about 12 p.m. on Star Radio UK. I'll come back to you now, Mr. Archie.
Well, listeners, it is Star Radio UK. Mr. Olayomi Koiki, who has brought you the updates from Nigeria. But as he said, this evening exactly at 18 hours GMT, or if you're in Nigeria, it's GMT +1. Yes, the Niger Voices will be coming your way. You want to have all the time to discuss everything, and I mean, that is a platform to be on, and that will be taking place exactly at 18 hours GMT. Yomi, thank you very much. Before you go,
well, tonight we will now focus more now on the ongoing super rally that is going on in Nigeria, which is very, very important for the right to self-determination. We will also be reviewing what next for those that are still thinking that, Nigeria is still going to be a country that will fulfill. Yesterday, I was reviewing Tanzania. They actually made more money selling goat during this World Cup to Qatar, as they are one of the highest seller in terms of export of goat into Qatar. So they actually increased their price, and they also put through more goat that was being used, in terms of a meal in the football for 1 month. Qatar is about 61 million. The Yorubas are saying that with the same population in number, we could have done better than Qatar. But this morning, an average Nigerian does not understand some of the reason why production of produce that is going to be used outside is more needed. Who could have think that Qatar, is doing good business with Tanzania when it comes to goat buying?
You see? Well, lots more going to be coming your way on Niger Voices. We can grow goats like no man's business and sell them, but we're not taking advantage of that. But who knows? All right, then, Yummy, have a lovely day, and then we catch up later.
Bye for now.
Bye. Well, listeners, that has been Mr. Olayomi Koiki bringing you updates from Nigeria. Let's take a quick break, and then once we come back, I will be bringing you some lovely tune, and then we'll go around to have a look at some of the stories making the rounds. And as I said, well, before the fact that we are in the festivities, yes, this afternoon we'll not be taking you to the Prime Minister's waiting time, but there's going to be lots of music to put you in the mood for the Yuletide. So stay tuned and don't you go away. Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London.
Make that move now, this festive season, to your new home address at GHS Housing Estates. From now to 31st January 2023, we are offering you an amazing 5% buyer's discount on all purchases on our expandable 1, 2, 3 and 4 bedroom detached homes at Cochrane Villa, Pokwase, just 5 minutes drive from the interchange. The Mayflower and the new Hazel Courts at Kuntusi, 20 minutes drive from Achimotamo. Beautiful homes in a serene and gated community with flexible payment plans available. Call us now on 0544 347 980 or 0544 347 981. GHS Housing Estates. View it, love it, own it.
Hi guys, this is your friend.
So this is Christmas, and what have you done? Another year over, and a new one's just begun. And so this is Christmas.
So this is Christmas, yeah, yeah. Tell me, what have we done? Oh, why?
Another year over,
And a new one just begun.
and so happy Christmas.
We hope you have fun. The near and the dear one, the old and the young. A very Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. And a Happy New Year. And a Happy New Year. Let's hope it's a good one. Hope it's a good one, yeah. Without any fear. Without. A very Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. And a Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Let's hope it's a good one.
Hope it's a good one.
Without any fear. Without. A very Merry Christmas. And a Happy New Year. Let's hope it's a good one. Without any fear.
Well, that was something from the Trinidad and Tobago. Yes. What do you call them? Armed Forces are bringing you some Christmas wishes there as well, and it's coming from us on Star Radio UK, and we say Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year wherever you might be, and we hope that you get everything that you need to get. All right then. So don't go away. I'm going to be bringing you all the other stories making the rounds, and I promise you one tune before we bring the program to a close for this morning. So let's go to other parts of the world. Let's look at some of the stories making the rounds there. Now moving on straight to the African continent, especially this time around the Gambia. Now the Gambia MPs are calling for a prosecution of Indian producer of suspicious syrups, that means cough syrups and all stuff like that. The Gambian Parliamentary Committee recommended in a report released on Tuesday that the company manufacturing plant in northern India be prosecuted and its product banned in the Gambia after at least 70 children died of acute kidney failure. The commission was established on October 26 to investigate the causes of deaths. Now, the government should take legal action against Maiden Pharmaceuticals for exporting contaminated drugs to the Gambia, the commission stated in a report on Tuesday. The commission recommends blacklisting all Maiden Pharmaceutical products and banning all its products from the Gambian market. Its members say they are convinced that Maiden Pharmaceuticals is guilty and must be held accountable for exporting the contaminated drugs. Okay. The contaminated drugs linked to the deaths of at least 70 children in the Gambia in 2022. Only in 2022, 70 children. And that's quite a serious and a scary one. And I hope that, well, authorities don't just go, so maybe some people who are supposed to see to do the right things, who are supposed to be the regulators, checking and making sure everything is taken along the way it's supposed to be, are not going to receive some bribes and just sharp, and then just go away, just throw something, give some chicken feed to families who have lost these children and said, I'll just move on like that. Well, so we hope that the World Organization will jump into it. Where they say they are to determine whether the lives of the 70 children were ended prematurely by the administration of these medicines. So let them come in, and I pray that none of the leaders in that country will go take any bribes to actually throw the whole thing out of the window. All right then, it's Star Radio UK. Now let's move on straight to DR Congo, where the UN has at long last, the UN Security Council has adopted a resolution relaxing the embargo on arms export to the Democratic Republic of Congo, a decision hailed by Kinshasa as injustice repaired. The resolution removes a language that previously required countries to inform the Security Council and its 15 members of any sale of arms or military assistance to the DRC. Now, Kinshasa has long deplored this requirement, saying it's created an unnecessary bureaucratic obstacle in its fight against armed groups. The DRC has been under a UN arms embargo since 2000. The decision was made at a time in response to the extent of the violence in the Central African country. In 2008, the Security Council amended its sanctions regime to apply only to armed groups, but it still required Kinshasa to notify a monitoring committee of any arms purchases. Now, earlier this year, the Security Council extended the sanctions regime but reduced the notification requirement for certain arms purchases. Now, Kinshasa has since continued to push for lifting of the restriction as the DRC faces an upset in clashes with the M23 militia in the east. The Security Council had been pressed to act amid accusations that it was preventing the Congolese military from protecting civilians. Do you think it's the right move that has been made now? How are you looking at it? Or do you think it was right that the UN banned them, and how come they've released or lifted that ban from them as well? We'll be looking more into that, but it's all coming your way from Starr Radio. Okay, it is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Okay, now let's move on straight to Ghana as well, because we are pressed with time. And those who do not share my views on National Cathedral are like Sambalat and Tobias. Now, do you know Sambalat and Tobias? Those of you who don't know who or what Sambalat and Tobias are, when you read Nehemiah, the book of Nehemiah, it talks about that when Nehemiah wanted to build the walls of Jerusalem, and then there were these people, Sambalat and Tobias, who were opposing it. But it's a case where in Ghana, with the economical pressure that the country is under at the moment, do you think there is the need for us or for the country as a whole to build a national cathedral? What church is it for? The Pentecost Church have got their own meeting places. The Action, what do you call them? Action. I was going to say Action Congress. Action, Duncan Williams Church, they've got their own. We have what do you call Dr. Mason Otabo, they've got their own. We have what do you call that? The one at Jowulu, around Jowulu, they've got their own. Everybody has got their dome. Lots of places of worship. So why should we, at the time where we are hungry, we are desperate, push our money into getting that? Now, I'm not going to say that don't do it. Now, if we have got surplus money to do that, you do so. It's not like people are not getting a place to go and worship, and therefore you want to build that place so that everybody can come and worship. Now, when there are Thanksgiving service and stuff like that, they do hold it in the Black Star Square, don't they? Or now the Black Star Square is not a place where we can gather to have such ceremonies. Well, the good book also says that, you know what? The time is coming, and the time is now that those who worship God will worship Him in spirit and in truth. You don't necessarily have to go to Jerusalem or go to any place. And now, nowadays, even look at all the technology that are in. You can do Skype, you can do what they call it, WhatsApp, and all the technical advancement there. Therefore, you don't need to be at a particular place for you all to, but you can be in a meeting. Okay, you can be in a meeting, but not in a particular edifice that has been built. But well, the president says all those who are against it are Sambalat and Tobias. President Kufuor says he will not relent in his decision to complete the building of the National Cathedral to honor his promise to God. Is he going to use his own money? Earlier on, they said that they were not going to use any state money. However, now things seem to have changed. His comment come in the wake of calls for him to put on hold the building of the controversial project and to focus on resolving the current economic challenges of the country. According to the president, those who do not share his views to complete the project are like the biblical Sanballat and Tobias in the days of Nehemiah. Now, just like Sanballat and Tobias in the days of Nehemiah, there are some who do not share my views on the building of the National Cathedral. I respect their right to differ, but I'm confident of my decision. By the vast numbers of enthusiastic supporters of this project, whose spiritual dimension is limitless. The president passed the comment on Sunday, December 18, when he delivered an address to the centenary celebration of the Ga Presbyterian Church of Ghana held at the Black Star Square. So you see, an event held at the Black Star Square. So why do we push ourselves that way? Well, it's all coming your way from Starr Radio UK. Well, I think he needs Nana and Dan to come and sing that song. I will arise and build. For they need to play that one in the seat of government. What do they call that place? Jubilee House, or what do they call it? All right then. Well, it is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. However, one other story that has made the headlines today in Ghana as well is the call by the former Finance Minister Setekwe that the government should put on hold the free SHS. Suspend the free SHS until the economy picks up. He didn't say they should cancel it. He said they should suspend it. And he in his sake says a former Minister of Finance has asked the government to suspend the free SHS policy until the economy rebounds. Mr. Setekwe said the current economic crisis does not support the implementation of policies such as the free SHS, and that all capital intensive projects should be reviewed urgently. I'm going to use the free SHS, unfettered free SHS. I'm free to say it's because in 2017 I tweeted and said unfettered free SHS was attractive but cannot be achieved. Ghana cannot do unfettered free SHS, he said. But now he's coming out to say, well, it's something that you've introduced. So what you can do now is to just suspend it until things get back to normal. But would the government hit to that? And if they're not, where are they going to be getting the money to do all those? Well, the president says that it's going on. He doesn't care. That God is going to give him the strength. Is he going to use his own money? If he's going to use his own money, why not? Why not? Oh, some of his friends are going to give him money to do. Why not? Well. Because after all, when he was starting the project, he said that they were not going to use state funds to do it. So how come that now they're embarking on that? Well. Starr Radio UK. Now moving on to some international stories. Zelensky is in Washington. Ukraine's leader heads to US for first foreign trip. The story says, now Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky says he is on his way to Washington, where he will meet US President Joe Biden on Wednesday. It is his first foreign trip since Russia invaded in February. Now, details of how and when he traveled and are unlikely to be made public given the security risk involved. The White House confirmed it will supply Ukraine with a Patriot missile battery, significantly increasing the country's air defense capability. On my way to the U.S. to strengthen resilience and defense capabilities of Ukraine, Mr. Zelensky wrote on his Twitter. He also said he will give a speech to Congress and hold a number of meetings. The visit was surprisingly kept as a secret, with official confirmation coming only hours before it was due to start. Do you think that maybe Putin would have thought of, come on, let's get this plane down? Or maybe like they said, like Belarus did, let's get that plane down. There's something on board, and then then they can arrest. Do you think that they could have done that? Or maybe they could have used a jet fighter to guide him to some Russian park or field and then arrest him, or airport and arrest him. Well. Let's see what happens on that. But the US are saying that they seem to be spending too much when it comes to Ukraine. Where does it all end? Is the question that has been posed by most of the people, but we'll be bringing you more on that at the Starr Radio UK. In Afghanistan, let me say good morning to my Afghan friends. Mo, I hope you are doing very, very well in the family. The Taliban have banned women from universities in Afghanistan, sparking international condemnation and despair among young people in the country. The education minister announced the regression on Tuesday, saying it will take immediate effect. The ban further restricts women's education, girls have already been excluded from secondary schools since the Taliban returned last year. Now, some women staged protests in the capital, Kabul, today. Now, today, we come out on the streets of Kabul to raise our voices against the closure of girls' universities. Protesters from the Afghanistan Women's Unity and Solidarity Group have said the small demonstration were quickly shut down by the Taliban officials. The United Nations and several countries have condemned the order, which takes Afghanistan back to the Taliban first period of rule when girls could not receive formal education. Now, if they are enlightened, can you just imagine how they keep the home? Or do you think that they would have to still use the same old stuff as they were doing in the past? So we're going to the market with another donkey, and then we go to the and all that stuff that goes on. But is it that what is making them scared of women being enlightened? I don't get it. I don't get it. Well. So coming your way from Starr Radio UK, this is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, bringing the time now to 10 minutes to the top of the hour. Now let's move on straight to some other stories making the rounds in other parts of the world. A couple more, and then one more, and then we come to the UK as well. Well, about a couple of weeks ago, the Peruvian government or parliament actually expelled the president. Now, Peru has given Mexican ambassador 72 hours to leave as spat the dippings. Now, Peru has ordered the Mexican ambassador to leave within 72 hours after Mexico granted asylum to the family of ousted Peruvian president Pedro Castillo. Mr. Castillo was removed from office earlier this month after he tried to dissolve Congress. He's being investigated in Peru on charges of rebellion and conspiracy. But Mexico has been supportive of the ousted president and said early on that it was considering granting him asylum. Now, Mexican President Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador has called the removal of Mr. Castillo undemocratic. But his attempt to dissolve parliament, was that democratic? The Mexican Foreign Minister Marcelo Ebrard said on Tuesday the government was negotiating safe passage for the family of Mr. Castillo, who were inside Mexico's embassy in the Peruvian capital, Lima. His Peruvian counterpart, Ana Cecilia Gervasi, said safe passage has been granted, but Mexico's decision to grant asylum caused further anger in Peru, and Mexican ambassador Pablo Monroy has now been declared persona non grata by the government. The Peru's foreign ministry said it is in its social media accounts that it was expelling Mr. Monroy because of the repeated statement by the country's highest authorities about the political situation in Peru. Peruvian opposition legislator Maria del Carmen Alva accused Mexico of sheltering corrupt. Wow. Mr. Castillo, who is in custody in Peru, was removed from office after he tried to dissolve Congress. Wow. So, that is what is happening in Peru. But what do you think is happening here in the UK? In the UK, a man has denied Olivia Price-Cobell's murder. Thomas Cashman, 34, pleads not guilty to the murder of the 9-year-old in her home in Liverpool. As one of the stories making the round. And breaking news that just came true. Members of the Royal College of Nursing are planning strike action after voting down a pay deal. That is where in Scotland. We thought that they accepted that pay deal, and we thought that even that of those in England were going to look at that and say, okay, you know what, let's look at that and okay, compromise or something of the sort. But it looks like no, that's not going to be happening. They are now voting. They voted to embark on some strike. So, Nicholas Sturgeon, can you rise up, please, and be counted? All right, then. The ambulances in England and Wales are on strike. However, blame game has escalated between unions and ministers. Ministers and unions have clashed over who should be blamed, who is to be blamed for any deaths during ambulance strikes. Now, union said the government was at fault for refusing to negotiate on pay, but Health Secretary Steve Barclay blamed the opposite side for striking when the NHS was under significant pressure. He said unions had taken a conscious choice to inflict harm on patients, provoking an angry response. Paramedics are among those striking in England and Wales on Wednesday. Now, control room staff and support workers who are members of the Unison, GMB, and Unite unions are also involved. Now, unions representing ambulance workers want pay increases to keep up with the rising cost of living. They have not set a specific figure, but argue any offer needs to be high enough to prevent a recruitment crisis. However, ministers say they will not negotiate on pay as they have met the recommendation of the independent pay review body. Now, interestingly, what happens with this independent pay review body is that this body did the assessment before the inflation, that before the Ukrainian war. So now that everything is calm down and the government is saying, you know what? No, we still have to go back to that. But really? Haven't seen the cost of fuel? Now that it's even come down a bit. Interest, the base rate for when it comes to interest rates are gone high. How are people have been planning, or how are they even paying for their mortgages, their rents, their travels? How are they going to be? People are struggling. So I don't know, but the Prime Minister is still digging his heels in, saying that, you know what, I'm not going to negotiate nothing, because if we dare give in, that means that we're going to be fanning the flame of inflation, and that is not going to help all of us. And therefore, everybody hold your horses. So why are they not talking to them? Why are they not talking to them? Well, you want to know more? Join me tomorrow morning when I come your way with another edition of the morning show, and I can tell you more on that front. But this evening, exactly at 18 hours GMT, Olayomi Koiki will be coming your way with Niger Voices. And as he said, they're going to be talking about the Super Rally and a lot more on that front. So, enough. We take a quick commercial break, and I bring the program to a close. And this time round, you want to get your hands on that offer that GHS Housing Limited is offering. Yes, you don't want to miss out on it. Then make sure you are taking action. Somebody will say, like right now. They've got their terminologies that they use, but like right now, do so, and you will see. You will enjoy it. Yes, 5% discount there. My goodness, it will be a Christmas bonus for you. But get in touch with them.
Make that move now, this festive season, to your new home address at GHS Housing Estates. From now to 31st January 2023, we are offering you an amazing 5% buyer's discount on all purchases on our expandable 1, 2, 3 and 4 bedroom detached homes at Cochrane Villa, Pokwase, just 5 minutes drive from the interchange. The Mayflower and the new Hazel Courts at Kuntusi, 20 minutes drive from Achimotamo. Beautiful homes in a serene and gated community with flexible payment plans available. Call us now on 0544 347 980 or 0544 347 981. GHS Housing Estates. View it, love it, own it.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR, S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
African drums, Kwampa, Sa, Sewa, Muronya, Ediaba. On the first day of Christmas, my true love gave to me a partridge in a pear tree. Sewa. On the second day of Christmas, my true love gave to me Bayanyamamo and a partridge in a pear tree. Sewa. On the third day of Christmas, my true love gave to me Fanta and Katia. Bayanyamamo and a partridge in a pear tree. Sa. On the fourth day of Christmas, my true love gave to me God on your webcam, Fanta and Katia. Bayanyamamo and a partridge in a pear tree. On the fifth day of Christmas, my true love gave to me a guy. Go to me, Chingo, Chingo, Nyale, Wankatiene, Kokaya, Toto, and a partridge in a pear tree. Sewa. On the fifth day of Christmas, my true love gave to me a guy. Go to me, Chingo.
Well, when that song ends and you don't hear from me, then it's with me, Archie, saying have a top of the day and bye-bye for now. Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year.
On the first day of Christmas, my true love gave to me a partridge in a pear tree. On the second day of Christmas, my true love gave to me Bayanyamamo and a partridge in a pear tree. Sewa. On the third day of Christmas, my true love gave to me Fanta and Katia. Bayanyamamo and a partridge in a pear tree. On the fourth day of Christmas, my true love gave to me God on your webcam, Fanta and Katia. Bayanyamamo and a partridge in a pear tree. Day 5. On the fifth day of Christmas, my true love gave to me a cry. Go to me, Chingo, Chingo, Nyale, Wankatiene, Kokaya, Toto, and a partridge in a pear tree. Day 5. On the fifth day of Christmas, my true love gave to me a cry. Go to me, Chingo, Chingo, Nyale, Wankatiene, Kokaya, Toto, and a partridge in a pear tree. Every year, on the fifth day of Christmas,